Hey everyone, this is an important video for me to make because I've just had a lot of great conversations with people that are capped and basically stuck at a certain level of income in business in general. And something that's worked very well for me has been there's a technology, it's called TechnoTutor, and I used it on myself to change my beliefs around money, change how I approach money, change how I build business, what I'm focused on, and really built a vocabulary of what it takes to have a successful business. And I've seen how just by me not sharing more about this, there's just a lot of benefit that comes from this because I can share a story for myself and from others who have used this tool to specifically make a lot more money and then to use that money to create cool things in the world, such as different groups, different communities. We're working on funding political parties, things like that. So I'm making this video to explicitly talk about that process and then what the future holds. So for those who don't know, TechnoTutor is a tool. Hey, I'm actually wearing my shirt today. It's a software for education. And if you want to see it itself, you have to reach out to me or someone else who's a distributor. We're not just posting it online because it's a complete 180 to education, complete 180 to the whole school system and everything. Where in school, we are taught to just listen to an authority, trust the authority. With TechnoTutor, it's about self-responsibility in education. But it's phenomenal because you can take material that would take you months and months to study and learn, like how to build a business or how to be effective at selling or how to be an effective communicator or whatever. Let's say you want to learn about gardening, like Jess and I use it for, we're building a homestead with a whole biodynamic farm. We use it for that too. But in this context of money and business, you use TechnoTutor to just program yourself with that, the necessary vocabulary and the skills that you need, as well as how you want yourself to think about the business. Because for example, building a business is hard. There's no such thing as something for nothing. So you have to put in the work. But what is your thought process when you're doing the work? So I used TechnoTutor hardcore for 4 months. Hardcore meaning I would spend 2 hours a day using this tool, basically reprogramming myself. And if the word reprogram is too much for you, just say it's like I'm restructuring how my brain handles information and processes information. Kind of like you're rebuilding a computer so it can actually get you the output you want. Because in the past, I would cap out. Every time I'd get to about $3K a month, I would cap out. It was like what I was subconsciously just accepting and allowing. But then it all shifted and I understood how to really start making money. And then over the past year, I've now morphed and grown this because then I was sitting out a bunch of capital after I made a lot of money. And then now I've started to put that capital into appropriate places because I had always thought, first I'm going to make money, then I want to change the world, right? But I'm doing the money so I can change the world, right? That's like what a lot of people, that's the thought process. What I noticed though was that that happened to me. I got, I created that. So then I had to prove I have integrity. So now I'm using that money and building business and building everything I'm doing with Jess and then here locally in Minneapolis as well as around the world to then really show, hey, I'm serious about re-educating the planet and I'm serious about creating a reality where no matter where any child is born or where anyone is born, you have the same access to the ability to up-level so that you can be on the same level as, let's say, a Bill Gates or Elon Musk, but you don't have to have the same starting point of them or starting point intention. Like Bill Gates, his starting point and intention is like control and basically influence and power. And I'm not here to blame him or judge him or anything. It's just that's him, right? He became a billionaire for a reason. He's a ruthless business guy. What I'm saying though is he also is really, really intelligent and he could basically pick up any book and read it. That's what TechnoTutor is about, and that's now what I've noticed is in the past I used to not like books on, for example, economics or finance or just so many things. Even the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I struggled to read because as soon as he got into understanding in the business owner mentality and assets and all of that, it was like I knew what he was saying, but I still had to think. It wasn't automatic. Now it's automatic. Now I actually know every month I have my balance sheet and I fill it out. and I have my cash flow and I know where the money's going. That's why I'm making money. And what this now means is moving into the future, what I'm here to do is show as many people who want to actually change how to do that. And it's as simple as you just reach out, because it's completely possible to change your situation. I'm not saying this because it's some hype, some motivation, something where you're going to feel super amazing and then crash later. This is about real, substantial physical change, and it takes freaking time. Anything that's overnight success is not real. Anything that's get rich quick is not real. But I can show you how over the next 4 to 5 months, things can really start to shift for you. Over the next year and 2 years, things can really, really grow. And you can take on more responsibility. And if you aren't willing to take on responsibility and you don't want to change, then don't reach out. But if you're willing to change and you want a better life for yourself and for those around you, reach out. Because we have a lot of people doing a lot of cool things, taking on the responsibility of learning, re-educating, realizing that the school system programmed us to be slaves to a system, straight up, to memorize a bunch of information that has really nothing to do with how to be effective in the world, and then just listen to authority, and then get all stressed out and then pass this test. That's what the school system is. This is real education, right? This is really about up-leveling yourself, up-leveling what you can handle, the ability to stay cool under pressure, the ability to handle multiple things, a bunch of information coming at you all at once, and then you making effective decisions so you can keep moving everything forward. So that's what this is about. So I wanted to share that because now where this is going in the future is Jess and I have our house that we're moving in 2-3 weeks. It's soon. And we're going to start putting on events. And we're going to be building not just with TechnoTutor and teaching how education can happen and really empowering people to bring education back in the home. Because we have a ton of families that have pulled their kids out of school. They realized school wasn't doing anything. Their kids will still socialize. They'll still go to the park. They'll still go to community events and things like that. But you don't have to put your kid in school for 8 hours a day and then give them homework. Who wants to do that in their right mind? Who wants to sit in a classroom for even 6 hours a day? Even 2 hours. I don't ever want to go into a classroom again. Because now I know real learning is just sit down for 20, 30 minutes a day, use TechnoTutor, talk to like-minded people, and then go out and do real things in the real world. I'll still read books. I still watch YouTube videos. I still train. But it's like I can just understand it once, and it's in there. So I have shortened all my timelines of how effective I can be. And that's TechnoTutor. It's not magic. It's just the power of the tool. It's accessing your unconscious mind, which is far more powerful than just this conscious thing that's thinking or hearing me. It's that part of you that is like the fact that your cells are replicating right now without you thinking about it, or that your heart is beating, or that your liver is doing what your liver does. That's your unconscious mind running the show. If you can program that with, I know how to make money, I can be successful, I can be happy, I can enjoy my life. When that programming, when that's understood on an unconscious level, that is when you start to actually create that, and that becomes your life. Instead of on an unconscious level, a lot of us are programmed with lack, not enough, I should be afraid, fearful, save my money in case something bad happens. Like, that type of programming is going to limit us. That's why I was limited. And I could only make the 3K, and then it was like all the fear kicked in, and I would just sabotage. Now it's like, I know I can create money. And I know why, when I do certain actions, it makes money come out on the other end. So I just do more of that. And I'm in the process of building teams of people doing this. We have an awesome local team. We have an international team. And it's now at a point where we know how to take someone from nothing to something to huge. And it's really cool to watch. It's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. That's why I make these videos. Right? This is real impact. This is what I always wanted to do. But I never knew. So I was always like, how do I change the world? How do we create a better world? I see how messed up the world is, right? Kids dying from suffering, or kids dying from poverty and hunger, and suffering at unnecessary levels. It's ridiculous. And I'm just sitting here, in the USA, pretty decent life. Like, I don't have to, worry about where my food's going to come from. And I'm like seeing that the average person just cares about what's on social media, what is Kim Kardashian doing, what is this and that. It's like, okay, sure, you can know what Kim Kardashian's doing, but how about we actually look at how do we use the resources that are here to ensure that no child goes hungry? Okay? That's only possible through re-educating the planet. Back to that old proverb, you can teach, if you just give a man a fish, they'll just eat for a day. You teach them how to fish. Guess what? How about you give them fish and you teach them how to fish, and then you teach them how to teach others how to fish? That's what TechnoTutor is. But it's not like a slow, painstaking, I'm fishing, it's going to take me like 5 years and I have to get a master's degree in fishing before I'm confident, and then I'm going to get a job fishing where I get paid minimum wage, and then I'm just in student loan debt forever. That's the old system. That's collapsing. That's done. No more of that. Where we're at is, how do we learn how to be effective with fishing, teach others how to do it, fish in a sustainable way, and then build on that. Because fishing is only so much of life. Because once your belly's full, then hey, now we can get on to creating a world that's actually awesome, right? Where we can do fun things. But if there are people still suffering in the world, you can't actually genuinely be happy, like true lasting happiness, right? So let's resolve that. And that's the future that we're creating. So Jess and I are having these events, bringing families out, individuals, people who want to up-level their life. And reach out if you want to come to some of these events. And the other part is we're learning all about sustainability and how to really work in harmony with nature and understand the principles behind nature, and how, for example, like biodiversity is so key, because the world is headed, dude, Bill Gates, do you know how much farmland he owns? It's insane. And they're doing the whole Beyond Meat thing and all the corn and the monocrops. It's ridiculous what's happening. So rather than just me say, I can't stop Bill Gates or whatever, it's not about stopping him per se, but it's about becoming equal to him in your ability to look at reality, deal with it, make money, be effective, and then start to implement and influence change. That's why long-term we're getting into politics, because that's where the real change happens. And I never wanted to get into politics. I always hated talking about politics. I always looked at the politicians and I was like, you guys are so full of shit. Guess what? They're the ones in those positions where a few decisions that they make influence the lives of millions or billions of people. So I realized it's part of my responsibility to get into the room and start influencing. And that's why I do sales, because selling is communicating. And the more I can sharpen my skills at selling, learn how to talk to people, learn how to figure out their problems, find solutions, that skill set will carry me, because I'll have that, right? I'll carry that to me when Jess and I have kids, because you're always going to be selling your kids on why they should do this instead of that. And, but it's also listen. It's not being this authority dictator to your kids. It's about having two-way communication. But if your kid wants to eat candy and it's, 10 p.m. and they just brush their teeth, you're going to have to sell your kid on why, hey, it's not best to eat candy right now, but if you want to have a piece of candy tomorrow, we can do that. Just common sense stuff. But that ability to sell, I don't know about you, but that was never taught to me in school. Was that ever taught to you in school? Did they ever have sales class or effective communication class? No. You think that might be for a reason? Look into John Taylor Gatto. He was New York City Teacher of the Year multiple times and New York State Teacher of the Year multiple times. This dude knows what's up. He studied the education system thoroughly. He was in it, and he saw how, really, the people at the very, very top, like the people who run the corporations, they know what's going into that school system. So it produces consistently a bunch of people that are employees. And if you want to be an employee, then good. Then go to school, and that can be you. But in a world where automation is increasing at an exponential rate, there ain't going to be jobs like there used to be. And yeah, sure, there's going to be one or two opportunities to be a programmer or work with technology. But is there, what happens to then all the truckers? Or even all the doctors that now AI is going to disrupt that over the next 5 years? That is the world we're going into. That now brings it back to TechnoTutor, because I don't know if y'all are aware of Johnson O'Connor's research on vocabulary and how vocabulary is the key to success in life. Because they looked at, with General Electric, right? They were like the Amazon of the day. And they were growing so fast, but a lot of their employees couldn't keep up. So they had huge turnover. So they're losing all these employees. So how do we make sure our employees can adapt? Because at that time, that was when light bulbs and electricity was being installed in homes. And washing machines and dryers. That wasn't a thing before then. So they had all this employee turnover. So they were doing everything they could to understand, how do we make sure that employees can keep up? and can handle the change and continue to be effective, and our company can stay on top. The only thing that they found with any degree of accuracy that could indicate is someone effective or not was literally the amount of words they could recognize on a vocabulary test. Why is that the case? Well, consider the more words you know at an unconscious level, that is indicator of what you can actually do, what you can process in reality. Like if you only know a handful of words, that'd be like you want to build a house, but your tool belt, you only have like 2 or 3 tools. If like a tape measure, a hammer, and a screwdriver. Well, if you want to, put in carpentry, or you want to, redo the floors or whatever, you can only do so much with those tools. You want to make it all level? Good luck if you don't have a level, or you're just going to be eyeballing stuff. That's vocabulary, that's words. So would you rather have a tool belt with 3 tools, or would you rather have a tool belt with 1 million tools? Because guess what? There's over 1 million words that you can learn. That's literally impossible to learn all of them unless you have TechnoTutor. So you're going to just sit down and read the dictionary, you'll probably fall asleep. Because I used to do that. When I learned about vocabulary was so key, I read about it in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. He says it all in there. But I couldn't even process it at the time. Now I can, because I have TT. And I saw, okay, the more words you have, the more opportunity you'll see, the more effective you'll be. Makes sense. So I tried to read the freaking dictionary. I stopped on page 2 because I realized I'm not processing any of this, right? Unless you're like a child and you can absorb information fast. Because if you look at a kid, right, you ever see a kid and how quickly they pick up language? That's you're in your natural learning ability. You don't really have your conscious mind set up yet. When like a really little kid, they're just present. They're absorbing like a sponge. That's the time to get all the vocabulary in. But how many parents are taught that, right? Why isn't that being broadcast over the news? Why isn't that being broadcast over the media? That should be a red flag. Because there's research out there. It's well known. Look up Daniel Seidenberg, Johnson O'Connor. A book called 30 Million Words. Language at the Speed of Sight is another one. All the research from Beginning to Read by Marilyn Yeager Adams. I have these books and I read them because I see how important reading is. Did you know reading is so important that in Arizona, they decide how many jail cells they're going to build for adults based on 4th grade reading levels? It's that accurate of an indicator of if people are going to end up in jail based on if they can read or not. It should be another big red flag for us because how many kids right now, okay, in the U.S., they just had, it's called the National Report Card, and they found that kids are reading today at the same level they were in the early 90s. What? And with smartphone, now everyone's like, oh, I'll just use emojis. I don't even need words. I'll just use emojis. That's unfortunate. Or I'll use a GIF. It's like, yes, there's a time and place for an emoji and a GIF, of course. But if we don't even know the definitions of certain words, that's problematic, especially with this world headed to where it is, where we're going to have to adapt. Are you ready for a world where VR is going to be more seductive than real reality? Are you ready for a world where people are going to get Neuralink? Even if you don't get it, the fact that people are walking around and they got a freaking chip in their brain, because that's the world Elon Musk is going to work at every day implementing. A world where self-driving cars is a thing. People are going to freak out at that, and other people are going to love it. But there's going to continue to be this rift. And you thought it was bad with politics recently, with the whole Trump-Biden thing, or wherever you're at in the world. Like, there's a lot of division between these main points. The polarization is going to continue. But now back full circle to the future that I'm working on with Jess and a lot of us in Self-Perfected, and just the people that, in TechnoTutor as well, we're here to implement a new system. That is the ultimate goal. The new system comes in the form of laws, so we have to figure out how to get into Congress, into Senate, into state government, local government, and not just national government, but also into the UN. So long term, we can be so effective, be so wealthy, that we can go to the United Nations and sue them because they're just paying lip service to the fact of, oh yeah, every kid's getting educated, whatever. No, they're not. The average child is basically illiterate right now, but we can change that. That's why TechnoTutor is so important. Plus, you can make money selling it. So that's such a cool win-win. It's like really the ultimate solution. But I don't expect you to understand that from just a 10-minute live video that I make or however long this is. But that is the future that we're creating. And we need people in everything. We don't need everyone to be a politician. We don't need everyone to be a business builder or a lawyer or anything like that, even though that'd be great. But we're looking for all those types of people. We have other people who literally their goal is to get into the music industry and disrupt that. So from the inside out, you can actually, and that's, you need a lot of people to do that because there's so much control in that industry. There's other people looking at, writing movies and things like that. We want to buy media companies. I mean, what would it take for us to be able to go and buy Netflix? Like, how much money would you need? How much influence would you need? But in reality, is it best right now that Netflix, like every other show, is just about like some weird freaking like crime thing or some like murderer show? Like, that, again, should be a red flag. But we've been so brainwashed to just accept that, oh yeah, TV, there's just always murders on TV. Oh yeah, there's just always conflict on TV. You watch those shows where there's lawyers and stuff and it's all like sexy, right? They're like, oh, they're doing that. They're a lawyer and they're advocating for their case. And then it's like, oh, lunch break, they're all drinking alcohol. It's like, that's done intentionally to impulse people to think, oh, that's that life and it looks so cool. And oh yeah, I can just drink and I'll just be fine. It's like, for me, I've had to give up drinking, right? I used to enjoy drinking. But now I realize for me to be effective at selling, in business building and everything I'm doing, that requires me to be okay with feeling really negative. Because there will be times, it's like you go and try and sell, or you go and try and build a business. There's going to be negative shit happen. Anyone who says it'll all be fine and dandy, they're lying. Right? When I made that transition and I really jumped in my income, it was freaking hard. And I had days where I wanted to give up. And it really sucked. And I would be really pissed off. But guess what? Then it was like a gift because I saw all the stuff come up in me. I used TechnoTutor to neutralize it. It's like all this cloud of stuff came up. And I was like, okay, like a laser. It's like, pew, 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 pew. And then it neutralized. And then I could see, okay, cool. Now that I'm not reactive, now I'm on to the next step, right? And then you take the next step and the next step. And I understood why it was all coming together. And then voila, boom. It's like, okay, now I know I can make money. So now it's like, what good is it if I can just make money or me and Jess have a good life? We need everybody to have this ability. At least enough people to then become the new 1% or the 1% of the 1%. So then we are able to then start influencing the systems. And then we can make sure that better quality stuff's on the media. That the news isn't just... Like, CNN still has the freaking death clock or the death toll on there. That's insane. Watch the... oh, God, what's that guy's name? The guy from Project Veritas. He did this huge expose on CNN and how they're talking about how having the death toll on there was getting a ton of viewers. It's like, that's what they're all about. They're about the viewership, and then they have you hang around so you can watch all the drug commercials. That's why I don't watch CNN. That's why we don't have a TV. I still watch stuff on YouTube. I'll still watch movies and things like that, but my whole intention behind it, I'm now when I watch a movie, I'm like, why was this movie, like, where did the budget go? Like, how are they thinking about this? What are they influencing people with? How do I now know down the road how to have a media company? How to make movies? I'm not going to direct movies, most likely. I don't know. But I want to be friends with the people that do so that we can influence people in the masses. And it's not like we're just going to have a super optimistic message and it's like, yeah, the world is perfect. It's like, no. But how do we have core themes throughout movie, medias, music, all of that? That's one of a message of like equality, like realizing, hey, I'm equal to people. Not like communism, like, oh, we just have to bring everyone down and I'll be equal and no one's better. It's like, no, how about you look at the person that you think is superior to you? Like look at, let's say, who would be some examples? Like people might be like Gandhi was so great, or people love, I don't know, celebrities, or Bill Gates, right? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. People are like, oh, Elon Musk is taking us to Mars and he did Tesla. He's so amazing. I could never be like Elon Musk. Guess what? You can. You can with TechnoTutor. Literally, it allows you to go back into those first 7 years, reprogram those words inside you so you can understand things like aerospace engineering, or how to build an electric car, or how to just be effective at selling and team building. Like at the end of the day, that's what he's really good at, is vision, team building, sharing that. And he's a genius. Like, he understands physics. He's a scientist. And so that is just vocabulary. Science is just vocabulary. And you can relearn and restructure all that in you at an unconscious level so that it becomes obvious how to do things, how to know things. So that's that. I mean, y'all still, like, I still don't even understand the full vision of all this, but I see enough. And I'm willing to look at this life I have and not just do it for me. And yes, I enjoy things. Like, Jess is making French toast right now, and I think it's ready, so I should hop off the video soon. But I still enjoy things. Like, we'll go on a walk and, we'll listen to music and stuff like that. And I'm not, like, sacrificing. And I'm aligning my business goals and my purpose and everything to not just, I want to make money so I can go live on a beach in Thailand or something. It's like, I'll still go visit a beach in Thailand, but I also want to go to Thailand for a purpose so that I can find other people there that want to improve themselves and their communities and everything. That is the next level of responsibility for me and for us collectively, like, straight up. And so if you are reacting to this message or resisting this message or whatever, I would suggest we connect, so I can show you how you can take this on for yourself, because as cliche as it might be, you have your own unique role in this too. Because this vision is about creating a world that's best for everybody, which includes you, it includes me. A world that's best for everyone just means everyone has their basic needs met. You don't have to be paranoid that someone's going to come break in your home and rob and take from you, because they have what they need. But it comes back to education. It comes back to the ability to communicate and sell. And that is the biggest thing that I've learned so far and that I'm developing within myself. I'm here to support others to do that. I still have a ways to go, but I know a thing or two. And so with all of that, reach out. Let's connect. Whether it's you or a person you know, let's put people in the mix, right? Keep building this, because it's going to take a good amount of us to really, really create this impact. And the time's now, right? Clock's ticking. So, see you next time.